Hey guys, what's up? This is Zeth here, and I wanted to talk about the past four games. So the Warriors went 2-2 in these past four games, as so they were basically climbing up the ladder, right? They were basically improving, and then these last two losses, they took like 50 steps down. So let's talk about what happened in these four games, and let's talk about the areas that we need to improve on in the game. And so let's start off with the Lakers game. So Kelly Oubre, I was about to say Kelly Olynyk, but Kelly Oubre, he showed up and he played great defense. He was aggressive and he was not fearful of the moment. My favorite play of the game was after Steph hit two free throws to bring the Warriors within two. Um, LeBron threw the inbound pass and Oubre forced it off of Schroeder for a Warriors possession, and on the next possession he would tie it up. So that was my favorite moment of the game. So he and Eric Pascal and Andrew Wiggins were really the consistent offense out there. Steph got going late. Um, Wiseman though he only had what 4 points? Yeah, he had 4 points because he was just not aggressive. I think Marcus All being big and being very bulky, that kind of took him off of the rhythm. He also picked up 5 fouls, so there's that. So he seemed very visibly frustrated um, that he was being sent to the bench so early. Draymond was all right. Yeah, he didn't post too many big numbers, but he had two huge layups. One which I believe should have been called a travel, but yeah, he forced some travels, so that was fine. Um, Eric Pascal though, he was really carrying our offense off the bench in the second quarter to bring us within single digits. So that was great out there. Um, Brad Wanamaker, two huge layups, and to bring the game a little closer. Now, as for the Lakers, LeBron and Anthony Davis did not do good at all. LeBron traveled a lot, or he did get called for a lot of travels. Davis was basically a no-show, and no one was really a show except for Dennis Schroeder in the beginning. He loves to attack the rim, right? You would think that the Warriors would have some sort of adjustment for that in the first quarter. Nope. Let him get to the rim. Let him get the free throws. Let him get the and ones. He had 14 first quarter points, which kind of was really ticking me off. But we pulled it together and we closed out on a 7-0 run. So that brought the game a little closer, and so that was fine. Steph with the slide, right? I believe that's what it's called now. The slide, the step back three over Davis. That was nasty there. Um, I was jumping up and down after that. But yeah, that was a really good and gritty game. Now, one thing that I thought was very BS was Kelly Oubre getting the technical when he blew a kiss, right? Who was that to? The referee, like the referees at this point are taking everything too seriously and are giving everyone technicals. So that was the questionable moment right there. Now let's talk about the Spurs game right here against the Spurs, and they continue the momentum right there. Steph got going early and then kind of cooled off, but it didn't really matter. Wiseman had a career high 20, right? He was comfortable in what they say the dunker spot. The commentators kept on mentioning that the dunker spot, so that's a term that I just use. Wiggins was great defensively and offensively. Oubre, although he did regress in terms of offensively, but he was pretty good defensively. So I wasn't too harsh on him in terms of that. He did have that nasty putback dunk though, so there's that. Um, Damian Lee got ejected because he picked up a flagrant two, and I don't disagree with the officials. That should have been a flagrant two, or a flagrant at least. Pascal, he only had 7 points, Looney. So no one off the bench really had a huge game. It was a surprise to see Jordan Poole get 9 in garbage time. So he definitely earned some minutes right there. Yeah, it was an overall solid game. Nothing that I can complain about. DeMar DeRozan picked up 3 quick fouls in the first quarter, so he was kind of angry. He even picked up a tech. Um, but yeah, everything was fine. Now in this next game, there was a lot of trouble right here. The Knicks are a good defensive team. They beat the Celtics 105 to 75, and I thought that was a fluke right there. I thought the Celtics were just not hitting anything. And I found out the hard way that they were not a fluke. They are not a fluke. Tom Thibodeau has them playing hard every night. R.J. Barrett, 28 points. Mitchell Robinson kept on getting offensive rebounds. Julius Randle with the near triple double. Right? These guys play hard every night. They beat the Bucks. They beat good teams, and they beat the Warriors today, or not today, but they beat the Warriors. And compounded with the fact that the Warriors kept on fouling them in the most inopportune times, that was the worst, right? In the game, I was kind of like, I was blaming the referees. But then after the game, I was like, well, if the Warriors are committing the fouls, then the referees are going to call the fouls. Now, the Knicks actually had more fouls than the Warriors, but it was just the timing of those fouls that kind of infuriated me. I believe there was like a quick stretch in the third quarter where the Warriors picked up 4 fouls early in the quarter and they were in the bonus. I read a statistic somewhere that the Warriors were second in the league in terms of fouling at what 21.6 or something like that. I don't know, but a lot. Basically, if you average that out in terms of quarters, they're basically putting the other team in the bonus every single time, which is not good. Steph struggled until late. He kind of hit those two threes where it didn't really have an impact on the game. Kelly Oubre, horrible. Um, Wiggins, not good. Draymond Green, um, yeah, I understood his frustrations, but I think that second technical was BS. He was apparently shouting on James Wiseman, and apparently they couldn't bring him back into the game. The referees admitted that they made the mistake, but they couldn't bring him back in the game. That was kind of frustrating. Um, but yeah, Eric Pascal struggled against the height of Mitchell Robinson and the other centers. They were very undisciplined defensively, leaving Reggie Bullock open for three in like the first few minutes of the game. They were leaving a lot of shooters open. Now I'm fine with leaving Alfred Payton and R.J. Barrett, and even to some extent Julius Randle open for three. But leaving other guys like that actually make their threes, that's not okay. And I think that compounded for Draymond. That kept on building up for him, and then he kind of took his frustration out on James Wiseman. Now, Wiseman said that he's just trying to learn. I think that's fine. If Draymond's shouting at you, that means that he knows that you can grow, right? He knows that. Bazemore committed some silly fouls. That was not okay right there. And we got to see Nico Mannion, and he was kind of like the sight for sore eyes. Um, in in like a in like what 8 minutes, he had 4 assists, and I like that. He was kind of gritty. Yeah, I know he did not hit any of his shots, but he had 4 assists and he was doing all right, not too bad. Damian Lee was a no-show. No one on the bench except Pascal was a show at all. Was a show at all tonight. Um, so let's now talk about the Utah Jazz game. And the Warriors did not have it. They do not have any legs. Now I believe their plane landed at like 2 a.m. Maybe that could have something along the lines for that. Maybe something like that could have affected the way that they were playing. that day, but it was ugly overall. Now they did climb back within six early in the second quarter, but then Utah Jazz got got hot again from three and stretched the lead to 30. Eventually, it became 40. Now, congratulations for Steph. He did pass Reggie Miller for second all time on threes. That was the only good news for the game. The rest was bad news. Um, Early in the fourth quarter, down 40. Right now, I did not watch any of the game after that. And then I open ESPN, and suddenly it's only like a 19-point loss. Now that is kind of that kind of made me happy in the sense that we cut the lead into half, but it was garbage time, so it didn't really matter. A loss is a loss. So Nico Mannion hit like two threes. He apparently had 4 assists. He had 8 points, and he had a steal. That was fine. Jordan Poole, fine. Michael Mulder, not too bad. Um, Looney hit his like what second three of the season or something like that. But yeah, not too good. Steph, not too good out there. Kelly Oubre, horrible out there. Andrew Wiggins, horrible. Draymond, if you're not gonna shoot, if you're not gonna shoot at all, you're essentially being a liability on offense now, because it is getting sickening to see that you are not shooting those open threes that you get. Same for you. Well, not same for Oubre. And I prefer for him to attack the rim. Let's give credit where credit is due. They locked us. The Jazz locked us up, and they were riding a 7 game win streak into this game. Mitchell got hot. Mike Conley got hot. Bogdanovich, he hit some huge shots. Royce O'Neal, he hit some huge shots. Jordan Clarkson off the bench. Joe Ingles, they had good games. So just learn from this game. Learn how to communicate defensively. They were like, if a team's in rhythm, why don't you focus on perhaps closing out on threes? They were leaving Bogdanovich open from three, Mitchell open from three, and I was getting frustrated at that. So in this next game against the T Wolves, obviously I do expect 2 wins right here, but they need to communicate. Close out on D'Angelo Russell. He can get hot from three. Close out on Malik Beasley. He can get hot from three too. Naz Reid, he's like a 3 point shooting big man. The Hernan Gomez dude, he's fine, but box out. You haven't been boxing. They haven't been boxing out at all, and don't pick up the fouls. Those silly cheap fouls. Those are very frustrating to see, and they slow the pace down. So if you do that, you will win. I repeat, if you do that, you will win. All right, that's it for now. Go ahead and share it, and go ahead and like this video if you liked it. Share my videos with your other friends. Subscribe to my channel and comment down below your views about this. Until then, see you next time.